That was the advantage here. How are you?
Hello, Vice Mayor.
How are you?
Will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight? Okay, meeting is called to order. Welcome, everyone, to the City of West Miami regular City Commission meeting. Tonight is Wednesday, June 16th. It is 7:32 p.m. For the invocation this evening, if we could all rise, Lieutenant Valencia.
Good evening. Please bow your heads. Lord, we thank you for all the blessings you give us on a daily basis that at times we may take for granted. We ask that you continue to watch over us as we seem to be going back to a sense of normalcy after these difficult times. Please protect our military service members, our law enforcement officers, and firefighters so that they will return home safely after every shift. Lord, we ask that you give clarity and guidance to our city employees, our city officials, and elected officials so that they can continue to make the right decisions when it comes to the wellness of our residents. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Vice Mayor, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Item 3, roll call. Mayor Rhonda Rodriguez.
Present.
Vice Mayor Eric Diaz-Padrón.
Here.
Commissioner Candida Blanca. Commissioner Juan Blanes. Commissioner Luciano Suarez.
Yes.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 4, presentation of minutes for approval for June 2nd, 2021, regular commission meeting.
I need a motion.
Motion.
I need a second.
Second. Second.
Thank
Second
you.
by Commissioner Blanes. Are all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 5, public comments.
Do we have anyone that signed up for public comments?
Not as of this moment, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Elliot, if you want to speak during the meeting, just let me know, okay? Thank you. Next item.
Item 6, report of the city manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the City Commission. I have a verbal report. As you know, we have been working diligently on our budget preparations, and that's what is it's being done every day in the morning. So it's going along. You will receive, if you have not received, some calendars, tentative calendars to start our staff meetings to go through the budget process. For early July, we will receive our DR 420 form, which is the form that helps us prepare the formula for the revenue derived from ad valorem proceeds on July 1st. So we will not know our bottom line dollars in revenues until we receive this form. So it's only fair to meet with you once we have that formula entertained in the preliminary budget. So that being said, please be on the lookout for a calendar from Gotti. Of course, we will accommodate another time if the time that is proposed is not suitable or does not meet your schedule. We can meet in the late afternoon, the evening, anytime you'd like. So the next item on my report, talking about the budget, is I received today confirmation from DEP, the Department of Environmental Protection, late this afternoon, and I copied you on it, congratulating the city for the award of the $350,000 for the next phase of the potable water system. And this email basically is asking us and the engineer to sort of huddle and provide them with a number of documents that they need, along with the project description, the tasks, a budget. And so this also plays a huge role with the budget process that we're working with. And I think, Madam Mayor, you happened to be at City Hall the other day when we were talking budget and trying to set aside some money to match these dollars. So this is what we're working with. On another note, the West Miami Community Center opened a soft opening Monday of this week. Seniors are slowly but surely coming back. We are averaging 30 to 34 seniors a day for the last 3 days. It would be nice if you could come in and welcome them back at your leisure. The most, I think the best time is 11:30 to 12:15 when they are getting ready to have their lunch and they gather downstairs. For now, they're playing bingo and they're playing dominoes. And then they're stepping right up into their lunch time. We're trying to secure some instructors so that slowly but surely we can phase them into their programs. However, some of these adult education instructors and other instructors that we use at the center are still doing virtual instructions, and I think I briefed you on that, Mayor. So we have to take this in baby steps because all the pieces have to come together over time. But we're happy they're back, and on July 1st, we are planning a grand opening. So, and I will get with Community Center Chairman Suarez, because at that point, I think that we have given them a couple of weeks to sort of adapt and adjust to their new schedule and having returned, and hopefully we get the instructors and we can celebrate a reopening of the community center. So I'll work with all of you on this schedule. And last but not least, our summer camp is off and running, as John would say. Right now, as of this afternoon at 5:30 p.m., which is the last time we spoke, actually at 5:13 p.m., we had 200 registrations for summer campers. This number may fluctuate. I mean, they are registered, they are attending. Some of these children will be going to summer school, so some of them may be there for a couple of weeks, and then we can open registration again for other children. We have a sign up, we actually have a waiting list, and we are prepared to handle 200 children based on the existing manpower that we have at the center. So we will keep you informed. I'm happy to say that of those 200, 122 reside or their grandparents reside in the city of West Miami, and they are returning from prior years. We have 72 to 74 that are non-residents of the city, so we're right at 200. Our first in-house field trip is a gaming bus. That takes place tomorrow, where the kids can play video games, and it's actually 120 spots are completely sold out. After July 1st, we are looking to take the children off to some of these safer field trips, outdoors, Crandon Park, Venetian Pool, Fairchild Gardens, and outdoor venues that I think is going to be a little bit safer, so we can avoid these kids getting sick or someone being contagious. So with that said, if you have any questions, I'm happy to take those at this time.
Not so much a question, but a comment on the summer camp, Madam Manager, and please let John Michael know that I'm getting wonderful feedback and comments from our youngest participants in our summer camp. They are thrilled to be back. They are thrilled that we're pretty much back to normal. I'm sure they were concerned having to come back under COVID restrictions, but they feel right back at home.
Yes.
And are beyond happy to be back at our summer camp. So thank you for that report, and
Thank you.
And let John know that those attendees are very, very happy.
I will express that to him tomorrow. And again, we had a lot of activities planned outdoor this week for them to sort of like get them into the mood and getting them a little bit of sweat in their body and have them play sports and just sort of run around and be kids, but the weather's not cooperating. So we're doing board games, we're doing, we're shifting them with the use of the room, we're putting them in the game room, they're watching movies, they're interacting, which is extremely important. They've been, for the last 15, 16 months, they've been tied to a computer pretty much all day long. So now it's time to them to start developing their social skills again.
And they're coming back to the rec that they knew before COVID.
Correct.
So
And the people
that's
that they
very,
knew.
very important
Mhm.
to them, and
Yes.
like I said, they're very happy.
Thank you.
Okay, next, is that it for your report?
Yes, ma'am, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Madam Manager. Next item, Madam Clerk?
Item 7, report of the city attorney.
There's no report by the city attorney.
Thank you, sir. Next item.
Item 8, report by the city engineers.
Mr. Engineer, you heard we officially got the money, right?
Of course,
So that means you need to get to work.
I will. Good evening. So just a quick report on projects that are ongoing. I am happy to report on the water projects. They finally finished those services. All those rear easement services are all in. They do still need to do work. We got to do now all the final pressure tests, bacteriological tests, get the lines certified, and then we'll be ready to transfer all the services to the new lines. In the meantime, hopefully we'll get them started now quickly on the restoration. I know everyone's been eagerly awaiting that part of the project, so we'll hopefully get that cranking here soon. But yeah, we're almost at the end and ready to start the next phase. So very excited about that. I did also receive some questions regarding an older project that was kind of lingering, the welcome signs. So we are jumping back on that. We'll have, county had just very minor comments. They wanted to see some additional stuff on the plans that we provided them. That's going to go back into them this week. Should probably take another month or so to get everything approved, and then hopefully we'll be out to construction in the fall. That's the plan right now. So before the end of the year, hopefully we'll have some nice new welcome signs.
Commissioner Blanes,
Finally.
did you hear that? There was no reaction from you. I'm like.
Oh, there
I
was a
wanted to show
reaction.
you
I saw
that
it.
you heard him.
Well, I'm smiling, thank you, finally, if anything you can do to help speed the
Absolutely.
process, please.
Yeah.
This is something that's, I've forgotten about it at times.
That's why I
And
said,
then-
did he
and then
hear
I
what?
get reminded, we do have those signs that you wanted, 2-3 years ago. I go, oh yeah, the signs, what's going on with the
See
signs?
that?
So,
Good things come to those who wait. Look at
Well, all
that.
the plans were all done. Everything was submitted to the county to go through the process. They came back with minor comments, so we'll be addressing all those. I have my folks working on that this week. That'll go
Great.
back into them and should be approved.
thank you.
So,
I think that we've all waited so long, especially Commissioner Blanes, that we should have some sort of like celebration, or, we should all gather around the sign and, cut a ribbon or something, because it's been a long time coming, so. Well, not so well, maybe, that's an idea, but we'll work on that. We'll work on that. Thank you, Frank.
all
Anything
right,
else?
that's about all I have. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Next item, Madam Clerk?
Item 9, committee reports, report of the mayor.
I have no report this evening.
Any other committee?
Upon hearing nothing, Madam Clerk, I would like to I see that Representative Cabrera is here, so I'd like to take item A under new business agenda items, 11A. I'd like to take that now.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Item 11, under new business agenda, item 11A, personal appearance by Temi Busata Cabrera, State Representative, District 114, sponsored by Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón.
Representative, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me this evening. Just wanted to provide you guys with a quick update. We, of course, just finished our legislative session, and we were successful in securing funds for the potable water system improvements, Phase 2, for the city of West Miami. We have an early session this year, so I'm excited to see what else you guys will task me with. A few big things that the legislature took on this year was flooding and sea level rise. So I had the honor and privilege to work on that piece of legislation, and that is a secured $100 million recurring annually for our state, and our local governments and municipalities will be able to apply for funding to DEP for water projects locally. So definitely be on the lookout for that, and looking forward to working with each of you on that. And thank you, Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón, for all the efforts that you did this legislative session, and everyone else in the room as well. I appreciate it. You guys definitely make my job a little bit easier in Tallahassee. Of course, we're going to be facing a redistricting year. That seems to be a topic on everyone's mind as I do these legislative updates. So you guys will be hearing that in the coming months, probably not until late fall. We are a little bit behind since the census was delayed. The state of Florida is getting an additional congressional seat, but we have yet to hear where that will be located in the state. And was there anything else on the top of your minds, or anything that you wanted to make sure was on my radar as we continue into the early legislative session?
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Continue the good work.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, I just wanted to publicly thank you for all the efforts in Tallahassee and for securing our funding and frankly for your representation of our district as a whole. We do have actually a recognition for you, for your hard work for us, that I think, Madam Mayor, would you like to present it now to the representative?
Oh, I didn't see it. Do we have it? Oh, I did not realize that it was here. Okay, let's do that. Everyone, if we go to the
Some
front,
wallpaper
please.
for the office.
Thank you. Yeah, the first swag for my office. I appreciate it.
Mayor, I want to make a comment about this state representative, because since the first day you start your campaign, I knew you was a very, very, very hard-working person, because all your crew knocking doors and putting and he and two other girls,
Yes.
and putting door hangers, and you work hard.
Thank you. Well, the teamwork makes the dream work, so thank you.
Madam Clerk, I'd like to jump right into the, I see our legislative consultants in, so I'd like to go right back up to the to 10A.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
The dream team out here.
Yes, item 10A. This is a report by the 2021 legislative session by City Governmental Affairs Consultants, Mario Bailey, and we have here Jonathan Kielman too.
Jonathan, Mario,
Jonathan,
welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Fantastic job in Tallahassee. I know it was a difficult year, but you guys once again came through for us, so thank you for all your hard work up there.
Thank you. Well,
In the absence of us not being able to go,
Yes.
you picked up the ball and you ran with it, so I deeply appreciate that.
well, thank you. Of course, the credit goes ultimately to the state representative sitting behind me, who did an incredible job out of the gate. We've known each other for years, and I knew that she would perform as she did this session and delivered for her constituents and Senator Garcia as well. And we've been fortunate to have strong representation and people we can work closely with. It's good to be able to deliver sunny news on a rainy day, I'll let Mario speak a bit about some of the specific policy issues we've worked on, the appropriation items, et cetera. But I wanted to point out what an atypical session this was. Heading into the session, we knew we talked about this in advance. This wasn't going to be a typical year. It was impossible to predict what the budget was going to look like. Mario will talk a little bit about how that shaped up. It was impossible to predict what the lobbying environment was going to be like. Accessing the Senate was essentially impossible. It was locked down the entire legislative process through the very end. The House had limited access, and so frankly, entities that had professional representation had the benefit of people who were there on the ground doing everything they could 24/7, making sure the message got through. And I think it's fair to say that, you know, for the city of West Miami, the message got through. The representatives you had did the work that they were, you know, sent up there to do. And ultimately we were able to report a favorable outcome to a session that frankly going in was looking very bumpy. So I'll turn it over to Mario and again say we're happy to answer any questions, and it's great to be back with you.
And also I'll be
Thank you, Jonathan.
pretty brief because I'm not sure what the representative covered. But as Jonathan said, we started off roughly looking at a $2.3 billion shortfall, and we asked the manager to put us together a package that's not a really large request, that's very sensitive to what's happening in Tallahassee. And she put together something that we were very happy with, and we got it through committee. And with the work of your representative senator, we were able to bring back that appropriation. Roughly 1,800 bills were filed this year. In your packet, you should have the list of the ones that were passed. There were about 50 that we tracked closely that we felt that would have impact you. Some of the bills that we were able to defeat that would have kind of changed some of the home rule. The vacation rentals, which was that have been mentioned before. There was a bill regarding the home businesses. We were able to shape that in a way so it wouldn't really hurt the residents that were be surrounded by the new home businesses that were being passed. One of I think the highlight of the legislative session was the focus on the environment. The legislature put roughly $640 million in a new statewide program to help with flood and sea level rise and things of that nature. That grant program will go live July 1st, and we'll be again working with the manager putting together a package to kind of help address some infrastructure needs. I think you have the full list. If I'm correct, in your packet of all the bills that we track.
Yes.
And I just don't want to be repetitive. And
Yeah,
so we're open for any question. But again, like, it's great to work with your representation there. We go back to legislative days together. As you know, like, learning the process is tough to come in from the outside, but she started in with a great member, and she learned the ropes from the legislative aid process. And so it was just easy and great to work with her and Senator Garcia.
Excellent.
It's great to be a veteran when you're a freshman. Right. That helps. But again, speaking briefly to that legislation that Mario mentioned with the grant process is going to be, I won't say complex, but it's something we want to pay careful and close attention to. The more planning and process that you've done on the front end, the more likely you are to have access to those funds. We're going to pay very careful attention to that process. Mario's already reached out to the EP to make sure that we are directly on top of what that process is going to look like, so we can provide information to you, and then obviously working with Yolanda and others here, develop the advanced planning that needs to get done in order to be able to draw down the funds. $600 million is obviously a significant amount of money, but a lot of people are going to be going after it, and we want to do everything we can to position the city for it if it's money that makes sense for the city. So that's something we'll be connecting with you on very soon.
Yeah, and one quick thing. The program will work like the 5-year DOT work plan. There will be roughly $100 million a year that FDP can allocate for local programs to local municipalities. Sorry.
Thank you, gentlemen. Excellent report. Any comments or questions for our legislative heroes? No?
You're welcome, and thank you.
You know we'll be back for next session for more water money, right?
It wouldn't be a session if we weren't back for water
Okay.
money, of course.
Water, water,
We
water.
will be continuously knocking on your doors for water money until it's complete, and I foresee that happening really soon, so we'll be back knocking again.
And hopefully you can fly in this time.
And we'll fly in this time.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll fly in this time.
Madam Mayor, I was going to offer, and of course I have to rely on Mr. Pena's records, but I was hoping to prepare a short video or picture, a slideshow, if you would, of the condition of our water lines. I think it's important for Representative Cabrera and our senators and members of the House to understand that there's a very big need here, and that's why we keep going back to you all for financial assistance, and the city is putting money towards these projects as well. But I think a picture tells, I think, the story. So something brief, short, that can capture the attention of our lawmakers, I think would make our case a little stronger, so that there's an understanding of why we're trying to change and upgrade our water lines. So I don't know if you would be interested in
I
us.
think we may already have something like that.
We
Didn't
have
we
the
do that
pictures.
for-
One has
Yes.
numerous
We-
videos.
We already sent, I think
Yes.
Mario
So
and Jonathan
we
have
were-
that already.
We were able to use those in Tallahassee.
You
We were
did?
able to show like this is what it
Show
will
and
look-
tell. Well,
Definitely.
maybe we have some
Yeah.
updated ones from phase
Sure,
one
that
for
would
the
be-
reconstruction and the startup of phase one.
Definitely.
And maybe we can add to those, because I think that really tells the story in more
Definitely.
ways than one.
Very good, excellent.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll add to
Thank
your
you.
presentation. We'll provide more,
And also, we're conscious, and I think, and we convey the message, you were very proactive with respect to issues like septic to sewer early on and helping to finance that. You know, as a city of your size, taking on that responsibility early on, not waiting for the situation to bubble up, no pun intended.
That's what it did.
You know, and it puts you in the position of having to, you know, juggle for resources, and we make sure that we convey that message when we're, talking to people in Tallahassee.
thank you, Jonathan, and you
We
all
have-
did
we
a
have a
fine
good-
job.
We have a good set of photographs, because about 10 years ago, Juan, 10 years ago, or around 10 or 12 years ago, I took it to Tallahassee, a set of photographs. Was Marco Rubio, the president, and David Rivera was in there. And I showed them. In that time, we couldn't get any money. But we have a bunch of photographs. A good set of the story of how we leak the water on the ground here.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
gentlemen.
Madam Clerk, I would like to move 10B and C to the end of the agenda, please. I'd like to put it after 11F.
Okay, Madam Mayor. you would
So our
like
next
me-
item will be
11B.
11B.
Yes, item 11B, report of bid tally for the City of West Miami City Hall and Community Center pavers project rebid by City Clerk and Mayor and City Commission on June 10th, 2021 at 2 p.m. The bid for the City Hall and Community Center curb and pavers replacement project was publicly opened, and one bid was received from John Bell Construction, Inc. in the amount of $89,794.23. That concludes my report.
Mr. Penna, who's going to take this? Mr. Penna, Madam Manager?
Mayor, if I may start, and then Mr. Penna, obviously, who's involved out there more so, and he's been involved with the contractors, but the reason this is coming with a recommendation to reject the bids is because I think that we need to look outside the box, think outside the box. We have gone to bid twice, and the bids are both in excess of upwards of $70,000 just to do the front of our city hall. So Mr. Penna and I were thinking about maybe going and getting some proposals instead of doing the brick pavers, to go with concrete. Number one, concrete is more durable. Now concrete is more modern, where you could give it a nicer finish to it, put some color in the concrete, and maybe find an alternative, because part of this project would be to remove the box next door at the community center with that old tree trunk that sits there, because that tree had to be cut down because it was damaged by, I think, lightning that hit it. And so that oak tree died years ago. So that project not only contemplates the walkway areas and the ADA areas, it contemplates curbing, and it contemplates the removal of that box next door, the trunk and the placement of a fountain, correct, Mr. Penna? That we looked at, because it is a venue that we use for rental, and it's very nice, it would be very nice for senior citizens to have a fountain there, something nice where they would walk into the center. We're looking at alternatives. But definitely, the delay is not good, but we're trying to find a viable, cost-effective solution to replacing the front pavers. So that's why we're recommending that you reject the bids at this time.
When and what can we expect to come back on this? I mean, give me a timeline, like,
Mr. Penna, can we? I'm sorry? Early September to come back to the commission, because we have to work on the bid document itself, and it's going to change a little bit, because now we're looking for an alternative solution, either artistic concrete or concrete alone. So, by the time we make the edits to the bid document and go out to bid, it's probably gonna come back to you in September.
so early
So-
September with what you're gonna propose to put down there, basically?
Exactly.
Okay.
And hopefully something that we can, that we can best utilize our dollars for something that's gonna last longer, like concrete, and something that is appealing, and it's timeless, if you would.
And can you come back to us with the entire thing, with the fountain and the tree removal? Can you come back to us with a
We're gonna
cost?
come back to you before with the
Everything.
concept.
Everything?
Yes,
All
and,
together.
and we're gonna get Frank to help us out with, he already surveyed the area, because that's contemplated for the bid document, so, maybe we can put the design in there so you can get at least a visual of what we're trying to do out there.
Okay.
Again, with this project goes the revamping of the landscaping in front of City Hall, which dates back to, oh God, I don't know how long, but it's been a long time. And we need to spruce up the front of City Hall. I mean, this is the home of, the people's home, if you would, of the city of West Miami. So we'd like to give you a very nice product and try to do our best to contain, the dollars that are devoted to that project.
Excellent. Okay. Next item, Madam Clerk? Thank you,
Yes.
Madam Manager.
Yes,
Next
Thank
item?
you, ma'am.
That
Thank you,
covers
Mr.
item
Commissioner.
11C, which is a recommendation by the Office of City Manager in reference to rejection of bid of the City of West Miami City Hall and Community Center favors project rebid. And item 11D is a resolution of Mayor and City Commission of the City of West Miami accepting or rejecting the recommendation by the Office of the City Manager to reject all bids submitted for the curb and paver replacement project in front of City Hall, providing for effective date.
Motion.
That would be a motion to
To
reject?
reject all bids, right?
To accept the
Yes.
recommendation, right?
Is that
Yes.
correct, Commissioner Suarez? Motion to reject, to accept the manager's? Commissioner Suarez, is your motion to reject the bids?
Reject. Yes.
Thank you. I need a second.
Second.
Call the vote, please.
Yes, Commissioner Blanca, how do you vote? Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez?
Yes.
5-0, item passes.
Next item.
Item 11E, a resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of West Miami amending Resolution 2016-54, authorizing the Office of the City Manager to charge a fee for lien searches and authorizing the collection of a fee of blank for said service provided by the city upon request by a lien search process, providing for an October 1st, 2021 effective date. Please correct that typo.
And the recommendation would be $300 for the lien search. And this is something that is charged to the title companies when there's a sale of a property, be it commercial or be it residential. And what we disclose to them, in addition to a home occupancy certification process, is the amounts that are due by that property at the time of sale, or any lien information for liens that have been placed against the property.
Madam Manager, does that amount completely cover our expenses in providing that service?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I need a motion.
Motion.
Call the vote.
Yes, Commissioner Blanes, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanca? Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón.
Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez.
Yes.
5-0, item passes.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 11F, resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami waiving the competitive bid provisions of Florida statutes and city of West Miami code, authorizing the city manager an expenditure of $10,320 payable to R&Y Underground Inc. for the purpose of performing the replacement of the 2-inch line at the recreation center due to its corrosion beyond repair. Said expenditures to be funded from the Water Enterprise Fund Water Line Repair Replacement Account 533600 as approved by the 2020-2021 city budget, providing for an effective date.
Anyone going to talk on this? Mr. Penna?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Basically, the main line that feeds the recreation center is as old as all the other lines we have in the city. And this one just keeps popping up leaks every 2 or 3 months. So it's in a bad state of corrosion and we need to replace it. We're gonna use the same company that the contractor's using, and he's in town, and that's why we have that price to replace the 2-inch line.
Is there potable water pipes? Is potable water?
This is our service line into the rec center. It comes off of one of the mains, but yes.
Okay. How soon can they get it done? Like right away?
Yeah, they're waiting on us.
Okay. Any
Miss-
questions?
Madam Mayor, I have a correction. Mr. Penn, I think we talked about won't be a 600 account. It's gonna come out of operating account. I believe it's 533, 236, or 237. 7, which is where the funds are at to replace these lines as they come up.
Mr. Penna, this is not going to affect the
237.
kids walking
Yeah.
in, or
I got it.
where is this line physically located?
Under the tennis courts.
Oh, it's way back there. Okay.
Yeah, well, they ain't gonna see it. It's gonna be bored through, and
Okay, no, I didn't know if it was in the front or the back of the building. Okay,
they
wonderful.
will never see it.
Wonderful. Okay, if there's no questions, any motion?
I just need one question. Doesn't really affect the. You can make a motion after. When did we find out? Like when was this problem discovered? Initially.
It's ongoing. We've been
for years or for.
yeah, we've been putting clamps on it for 5 or 7 years now.
Okay. I mean clamps as like.
Stainless
Band-Aids?
steel clamps that
Okay.
do a temporary repair.
All right. Thank you.
Just like all our other leaks, right, Mr. Penna? Band-Aids.
Well, when you said to collect more for Mr. Bailey, that's what I'm doing. Going
We've
through
been putting
my
Band-Aids
all my
for many, many years.
all the pictures
so
they've sent me over the past 2 years.
Good, good. Pick out the pictures that show the worst pipes ever.
Well, I just showed Frank one in the easement. It looked like a gusher.
Wonderful, wonderful. Be sure to get all our geysers and gushers in there, and especially this one. Lead it to the back. We can rename. We can tag each of those pictures with a good name.
There you go.
Okay, I need a motion.
Motion.
I need a second.
Second.
Call the vote.
Yes, Commissioner Blanca, how do you vote? Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez?
Yes.
5-0, item passes.
Next item.
And now we go back to the original order of the agenda with items 10B and C, Madam Mayor.
For consent agenda, we have none. Yes, we'll
No,
go back
yes.
to 10B and C.
Yes, item 10B, appointments or reappointments to the Code Enforcement Board and determination of terms by lot by City Commission.
Why is this table so silent?
We're waiting for. No, are we going to? Are we make the appointments now, or are we?
Why don't you tell us what we're going to do, sir?
I mean, I'm ready to make an appointment to the Planning and Zoning Board. I want to kick it off.
Are we doing both, Madam?
We're doing now.
The first is the
item
Code
B
Enforcement
for
Board.
the Code Enforcement Board.
11B is code enforcement.
So the code enforcement, I was waiting for guidance on who, because that one is not like the Planning and Zoning Board where it's every member. That one, there's just one or two vacancies.
I don't know. Don't ask me, ask the clerk.
That one, there's one or two vacancies,
May-
correct?
may
Not until he's finished, sir.
Anyways, well, that's not important. What I was waiting for there is whose turn it was next. I was informed by Member De La Rosa that he does not wish to continue to serve on that board. So just as an FYI there. But I don't know whose turn it is next. I don't want.
Whose turn is it, Madam
I
Clerk?
don't want to take.
Whose turn is it, Madam Clerk, to appoint to the Code
Devise.
Enforcement Board?
Mayor, may I?
Let the clerk answer the question. Whose turn is it, Madam Clerk?
My recommendation is to start with Commissioner Blanca, Blanes, Suarez, Diaz-Padrón, and Rodriguez. That's
Is that who's next? Is Blanca next?
Blanca, yes.
For the code enforcement?
Code Enforcement Board.
Who's your appointment, Commissioner Blanca?
Excuse me.
Your microphone?
Microphone. Commissioner, turn on your microphone, please. Who's your appointment for the Code Enforcement Board?
Well, to be fair, I don't think she realized that she had to make an appointment for the Code Enforcement Board today.
It's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda, but there's not, it wasn't one of the boards where all of us were making an appointment.
Okay.
So I don't think that she probably could have prepared for that.
You-
We can't hear.
Mayor, you excuse me, but we have a problem here.
What's the problem?
The problem is that we should go to the zoning board first. If the zoning board is more important.
Commissioner,
Code
that,
Enforcement.
this was the first,
The
this was,
code enforcement board is just.
if you look at your agenda, 11B is
No,
before
but-
11C.
Well, maybe the agenda is wrong, but the zoning board should be first. It's more important.
She's already on Code Enforcement. Are you
If-
reappointing her?
If I could.
No, no, let Commissioner finish. Commissioner Blanca, are you reappointing Natalie Milian to the Code Enforcement Board? Okay,
Well, no.
Madam Clerk,
And
so noted.
I'll tell you why now.
No,
but-
she made her appointment, we're done. Well, she made her appointment.
Well, Madam Mayor, that's an issue because Natalie Milian is my appointment to the Planning and Zoning Board. So she cannot serve on two boards at one time. That's
Is
why.
Natalie Milian, has her term expired on the Code Enforcement Board?
No,
Has she resigned from the Code Enforcement Board?
not yet.
Okay. How can you appoint someone who hasn't resigned?
You resign after the appointment. You're not locked into your position until you resign. Once she is appointed, then she will resign from the Code Enforcement Board.
All right, so pick somebody else, Commissioner Blanca.
You can't just pick out of a hat. You have to speak to the person. You have to speak to the person to make sure they want to be appointed.
Let's let Commissioner Blanca answer the question since it's her appointment, sir.
No, I have no problem with her appointing anybody, obviously. That's what I.
Is that what you'd like to do? Okay. Commissioner Suarez, you had a question or a comment. What was it?
I can hear,
What I
I'm
tell
sorry,
you is this
Mayor,
is
we
wrong.
can't-
Should be
we
the
can't
zoning
hear
board
Commissioner
first.
Blanca.
Okay,
Should be the
Commissioner Blanca, could you
zoning-
repeat what you
This is a
said?
wrong agenda.
This is
The-
a
the
wrong
order of
agenda.
the items. Should be the zoning board first, is the most important board, and then the code enforcement second.
The clerk
If
is
the
in charge of the
clerk-
agenda,
I don't know
sir.
who put the order in the agenda.
The clerk is in
Whoever
charge of the
did
agenda.
wrong.
The clerk is in charge of the agenda, and that's how we're going.
I want to nominate for code enforcement Karina Fernandez. But I think it's wrong. Should be zoning board first.
Okay, Madam Clerk, how would you like to proceed?
It's not
Personally, I
for me to
wouldn't mind.
say how would you like to proceed. You instruct me how to proceed. If you want to take out of order the other item, the Planning and Zoning Board first, it's up to you, Madam Mayor. It's
They have
not up to
already
me.
made, Commissioner Suarez has made his appointment. Was he next for the?
If you want to table this item for a moment
No,
and
no,
take
no,
the,
no.
take
This
on
is
the
the
other
wrong-
Let me
items.
ask you a question.
This
Was
is-
Commissioner Suarez next on the list to appoint to the Code Enforcement Board? Who was next after Commissioner Blanca?
I have Commissioner Blanes and then Commissioner Suarez.
Okay.
Okay, so who on the Code Enforcement Board would like to serve? have any of the members that they have not spoken to?
No, Mr. Commissioner, no, I don't have that information.
Mr. Lorido, does he serve in the code enforcement board?
No, he's the
He's in
only
planning
one
and
that
zoning
called.
board.
He's
Mr.
a-
Lorido is in the planning and
Who are
zoning
some of the
board.
members that were on the code enforcement board that consequently are not serving now because of the proceedings of the one of the last commission meetings?
Mr. Penna, Mr. Penna?
Who on the code enforcement board is not serving now because of what we determined was the way that we needed to proceed
There
at
are
one of the last
members,
commission meetings?
there are members that are serving a second term that expires, like, for example, Lisa Coelho, Ralph de la Rosa, and those are serving as a second term already, Natalie Milian. So those are the three that are serving the
which
second
one's
term.
out? So which one went out because of what happened during our commission meeting?
Those will be out, sir.
Huh?
What she's trying to tell you, De La Rosa will be out and Coelho will be out.
By
And De La Rosa
November.
doesn't want to serve anymore.
No, they want to serve. It's just by lot, they'll be out unless you reappoint.
No, what he's referring to is that De La Rosa
about-
advised me that he
How
didn't
about
want
Ms.
to change
Cuello?
it.
One at a time, please, one at a time.
How about Ms. Cuello? Does she want to serve?
Yes.
Okay, I appoint her.
Right.
Have these members been advised of, did they receive the letter that you guys were gonna send out?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I sent a letter via email and US mail to all the members of the board advising them that this conversation would take place, or the appointments or reappointments will take place tonight, and that they may be contacted prior to the meeting, but that's
so,
all.
So on the record, I hereby appoint Ms. Cuello to the code enforcement board.
Okay, are we done?
Well,
Commissioner Suarez made his reappointment, was that a
He was-
reappointment you made,
It was after
Commissioner?
Blanes. So,
He made it already. Who
Yeah,
did you,
same day.
it's your turn now.
I tell you, the agenda is mistake. This is
Why is this so difficult?
wrong done. Because the order of this zoning board first, and I'm pretty sure in the table, some people doesn't know what we're going to do. I can see that. I can see in the table, some people don't understand. We reappoint. I'm going to reappoint or bring somebody new. But the reappoint, you may reappoint whatever you did before or not. But you have the right to reappoint. We have to explain how the table is going to work. I don't see this is clear. I understand that the boards are going, if we have the right to reappoint the person or appoint a new person. Correct? That's clear for everybody? Is it clear for you, Blana? Is it clear for you? Is it clear for you?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, now, to me, zoning board is the most important because code enforcement is just to correct the mistakes. But the zoning board is the most important board in the city because the zoning board have power to do decisions. And whoever did the order of the agenda is wrong. Zoning board should be item B and the other is C, but they put it in the wrong place. That's what I think.
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner, don't minimize our boards. The code enforcement board is as important as planning and zoning, and so are the people that serve on those boards. So it is as important as planning and zoning. So let's not minimize our residents' efforts in their service to our city.
Madam Mayor, can we move on to the planning?
No,
and
we
zoning?
can't. The commissioner's not done yet.
No, I done.
You're done?
I already explained. I want to be clear that everybody knows what we are going to do. I want to be sure that all us know about the reappointed or bring a new one, a new person. I want to know that everybody knows that, are in the same page. And then, to me, the zoning board should be first, because it's the most important.
Well,
Done.
we happen to be on
Done.
code enforcement, so
Done,
who is
Mayor.
your,
I don't have to
who is your
discuss with you
appointment
nothing.
or reappointment to code enforcement board?
I don't have to discuss with you nothing.
Excuse me?
I don't have to discuss with you, I already done. I done.
Who, we are on item 10B. Sir, you are next. Who is your appointment or reappointment to the code enforcement board?
I'm going to nominate Karina Fernandez. Is a new person for the code enforcement. That's it.
Done. That's all we were asking for you to do. You'll be ready for the next meeting. Did we fill those empty spots, Madam Clerk? That's it?
Yes,
Wonderful. Next item.
next meeting
Next.
for Commissioner Blanca's nomination. So,
Okay. No, code
it's
enforcement.
okay. It's quick. Code enforcement, at the next meeting, you make your nomination.
Thank you, Commissioner Blanca.
Duly noted.
Okay.
You
Next,
instruct me, how would you like to proceed, Madam Mayor?
next item on the agenda.
Okay, next item on the agenda is item 10C, appointments or reappointments to the Planning and Zoning Board and determination of terms by law. Planning and
Could we
Zoning
go
Board.
back, could we go back to the 11B? I just realized something. The appointees and the reappointees that were just named, will the determination by lot be done at the next code enforcement meeting?
Madam Mayor, you determine that. You are
Okay.
the ones who make that decision.
Mr. Penna?
Their terms are determined by state statute.
Right. Okay, so for code enforcement, that doesn't apply?
No.
Wonderful. Thank you. Because here, the agenda says determination by lot. So the agenda needs to be corrected. Code enforcement, yes. 11B was code enforcement. So, Madam Clerk, determination by lot does not apply to 11B, which were the appointments or reappointments to the code enforcement board. Thank you. Okay, now,
Noted, duly
let's,
noted.
let's continue with 11C.
Yes.
I'm sorry, did you read that? I lost you.
Yes, I did read it. I can read it again.
Please
If you'd
do.
like me to.
Please
Item
do.
11C, appointments or reappointments to the Planning and Zoning Board and determination of terms by law.
Mayor, you number one now? According with this?
This one is not as vital. Because everyone has to make an appointment.
Madam Clerk? Who's up first for the appointment or reappointment to the Planning and Zoning Board, and then determination by term, by lot?
I have Mayor Rodriguez, Commissioner Blanca, Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón, Commissioner Blanes, and Commissioner Suarez.
Okay, so, for the record, before I make my appointment or reappointment, I want it noted that I am still totally against the way this is being done. I feel it is a slap in the face to our existing board members. And I know I'm repeating myself because I said all this at the last meeting. It is a slap in the face to those members that have served diligently, given of their time, and have done an incredible job for this city. So to receive a letter saying that, you know, they didn't exist was pretty much the worst thing we could have done to our residents. Okay, so with that said, I will be reappointing Diana Rio. And I fully want to express my regret to whichever board member is going to be left out, because there's 5 members, and I know that one of us, obviously was already stated, will not be reappointing. So one board member will obviously not be able to return to their seat, which bothers me to my core. Okay, next person?
Commissioner Blanca?
Next
Vice
person?
Mayor Diaz-Padrón.
Sure, and I'd like to preface my appointment. Obviously, I brought it out because it was illegal what we were doing. Number two, I'm very thankful for those who serve, especially those who serve for such a long period of time on a city board. It's not very common you see that. And in fact, I think it would be right, because I don't think it's been done in a long time, to recognize the service of our members with recognition at a future meeting, which I'll leave up to the mayor and the administration on how, if they want to do that, and how. To address one point that was just mentioned, because it seems very directed towards me, this is not a social club, it's a government. It's not, we're kicking out one person, it's everybody makes an appointment. I mean, this is not a personal thing towards any member. I'm very grateful for anyone who serves their city for free. I mean, $15, but for free, and just for the betterment of the community. But we also have to give chances to people who have not previously served. So with that, I would like to appoint Natalie Milian, who is currently serving on our Code Enforcement Board, to the Planning and Zoning Board.
Next person? Who's up, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Blanes.
Who else is on the board that was left out? Mr. Laurido?
Okay, in the Planning and Zoning Board, we have Gilberto left, that has not been appointed, or reappointed. We have Gilberto Gonzalez, Joe Paz, Alvaro Laurido, and Stephen Rojas is the alternate.
I would like to appoint Alvaro Laurido.
That would be a reappointment.
A
Yes.
reappointment.
Commissioner Suarez.
I want to reappoint it, Jose Paz.
Are we done, or did Commissioner Blanca make hers already?
Commissioner Blanca nominated and reappointed Eugenio Gonzalez. So Mayor Rodriguez, Diana Rios, Commissioner Blanca, Eugenio Gonzalez, Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón, Natalie Milian, Commissioner Blanes, Alvaro Laurido, and Commissioner Suarez, Joe Paz.
Okay. I'm sorry, yes, Mr. Penna?
We have an alternate, Stephen Rojas.
Well, he either needs to be reappointed or replaced. Yeah, no, is that what you wanted to say?
Yes. The
Okay.
alternate has to be reappointed also.
Who's next?
Who is up for reappointment?
The mayor.
I think we start all over, like the mayor.
Then I will ask Gilbert Gonzalez to be our alternate, since he would be the one that would have been left off or left out. So I will reappoint Gilbert Gonzalez as the alternate. Are we done?
Yes, Madam
Done.
Mayor.
Wonderful. When will the determination by lot be, Mr. Penna? At the next meeting?
Done?
I think you had a good idea.
Determination by lot will be done at the next meeting. Madam Clerk, will you please attend the next planning and zoning meeting to do the determination by lot?
Yes.
Mr. Penna, that meets with your approval? We're done. Next item? What's that? Madam
Yes.
Clerk,
So
does
item
that meet with
12
your
cons-
approval?
Yes, yes. Item 12, consent agenda items known. Item 13, good of the order.
None. Next item?
That's it?
No more items. The agenda has been
I
covered.
need a
in
motion
the
for,
last
to
item.
adjourn.
Motion.
Meeting adjourned.
Mhm.